My photographer and I, we were driving to Lancaster County to check out some flooding there when we spotted this area and had to pull off and show this to you. Check this out. This is the Conoy. Officials tell me at this hour it's going well. They are winding down the drill, but they are still here at Park City Mall, as you can see behind me. I'm not 45, but I'm going to attempt to see if I still have what it takes to parallel park this SUV. I have my intern Bo here with me. You nervous? I think I can do it. Now, depending on what your doctor says, PennDOT says you might have to take the behind the wheel test, the written test, or both. Did I get it? There we go. Local police dog Train did some training here at this vacant house behind me in Peckway Township, and today he wore his brand new bullet stab protective vest. As 23-year-old Goodwill firefighter Robert Swigert was released from Penn State Hershey Medical Center and placed into an ambulance to head home, our cameras were down the street with his colleagues and friends who were plotting a huge surprise.
We will all be using emergency lights.
Swigert's convoy of more than 15 fire departments, including his own, would escort him the entire way from Hershey to Hinkletown.
It's never easy saying goodbye to a brother. I mean, there are people who know him really well. There are people who know him that have just seen him on calls. But even if it's someone from the complete other end of the county, it's still so sad to have something like this happen to anybody.
It's the brotherhood that just sprung up out of nowhere. It's there, it's silent.
Traffic stopped on Route 322. Swigert's ambulance pulled into his driveway, and two lines formed on each side leading up to the front door. His friends and fellow firefighters saying their final goodbyes. For some, the emotion was too much to hold inside. Swigert's family is overwhelmed at what they saw here today.
And today I realized that he didn't just influence the community that he lived in. He influenced an entire medical center of people.
I went inside the house to talk to Swigert. He didn't want to talk on camera, but told me he liked his convoy very much. He said he wasn't feeling too well and in pain. His mother didn't want to talk on camera either. She tells me, though, they've done everything they can. Even so, they say Swigert said he won't quit fighting. Neither are they.
Am I giving up hope? No. But all I know is when we have one of the greatest doctors in the world come in the room and say, it's done, I can't fix him, what are you supposed to do?
As they leave one by one, they turn on the sirens for a brother who will always be remembered as one of the bravest. On a beautiful spring day, Monday, Diane Lausman and her friend John are cycling the Country Club Drive neighborhood of Manheim Township, Lancaster County, a popular spot for cyclists. Suddenly, John's camera catches a driver slamming into Diane. She lies in the middle of the street. John runs to her.
What's the matter with you?
Clearly upset, John yells at the driver, who police later identify as 85-year-old Lloyd Hambright.
Jesus mighty, man, you're just right in front of us.
Diane doesn't move. John calls 911. The man who hit her covers her with a blanket. She was taken to Lancaster General Hospital, where Diane's friends say she's recovering from 2 broken ribs, severe breaks on her legs, a shattered right wrist, and she had surgery today on her right shoulder. Friend Bill Hoffman visits her often.
Well, I was kind of surprised. Diane's been a very careful rider for years. I've known her for a long time.
Bill is also with the Lancaster Bicycle Club and teaches safety.
A lot of cyclists come by this way. This is a marked bike route.
He showed us firsthand how to bike safely. You can see the bright clothes and mirror he wears on his glasses. He says always wear your helmet, but adds it's the driver's responsibility to be just as aware of cyclists, especially this time of year.
I tell my students, if you act like a motorist, drive as if you were driving a car, 99% of the time you will not have any problems.
As for Diane, Bill says despite her many injuries, she's in good spirits.
Her spirits are exceptionally good considering what she's been through. She's very lucid and And she's even talking about getting back on her bike. It hasn't spooked her about continuing to cycle.
We spoke with many people about this, and they were surprised to hear the program even exist, and even more surprised to hear just how young the people are who are being retested. Each month, PennDOT randomly selects 1,900 drivers to go through a vision and physical exam. Those people might also have to retake the driver's test in order to keep their license. We went to City Island and asked a few people if they knew the age of those drivers who are randomly selected.
75.
I would say 60.
60, 64, somewhere in there.
Do you know it's 45?
I did not know that.
I did not know that at all.
That's right. At just 45, you might have to prove to PennDOT that you deserve to drive. I'm not 45, but I'm going to attempt to see if I still have what it takes to parallel park this SUV. I have my intern Bo here with me. You nervous? I think I can do it. Now, depending on what your doctor says, PennDOT says you might have to take the behind the wheel test, the written test, or both. Did I get it? There we go. Okay, we did it. Soon, I might be required to retest because PennDOT might expand the pool to include more drivers of different age groups. Kenneth likes the idea, but thinks teens should be retested as well.
90% of them don't know how to drive. Just because they get a license, they think, oh yeah, now we go. They have no idea what its responsibility is.
It feels like, why not? You're going to pass it if you know how to drive a car.
Yeah, it's probably a good idea. Driving's a privilege, not a right, so we want to make sure everyone's safe.
I think I'm going to have to work on my parallel parking there. My photographer, Louis, made me look good. We did a lot of takes before then, but doctors are required to report back to PennDOT. Each year they get about 22,000 reports, and out of that, they say more than 50% of people shouldn't be driving, and out of that, half are under 65 years old. Live in Harrisburg, Ewa Roman, CBS 21 News.
What do we have, open door?
Southern Regional Police search a vacant home in Peckway Township.
Out there, couch.
We're doing some situational training on building clearings.
There's a mirror there. You see anything out of that mirror?
But today they have some help from a four-legged friend who goes from playful to protective at the command of his handler, I'm sending a dog! Officer Diane Carter. Officer Carter's partner in crime is trained. Today she dresses him with new gear that one day could save his life. Embroidered on the bullet and stab-resistant vest is in memory of K9 Rocco, Pittsburgh police. Rocco was killed in the line of duty earlier this year.
These dogs would die in the line of duty and give their lives for the public, for the community, just like, an officer would. And keeping him safe is huge, but also remembering those other dogs who've died in the line of duty is huge.
Vested Interest in K9 Incorporated donated the vests to more than 350 police dogs nationwide. At $950 a pop, the police agency in Lancaster County doesn't have to worry about affording extra safety for one of their own. It's what you would expect to see at Park City Mall on a Sunday. People shopping. They know nothing about the hundreds of first responders and volunteers getting ready to do a drill that could save their lives. In this room, Margaret is made up to play someone who's been shot.
It's exciting to play in, but kind of scary to think about if it happens in real life.
Andy is supposed to act like he's been hurt in an explosion.
Good that they do it and we can protect those that may be victims of it in real life.
If a situation like this happened in Lancaster County, Dwayne Hagelgans would be the one who gives information to media.
The shooters will come in and we'll start the exercise, and it'll sound like and look like it's multiple shooters coming into the mall to take over the mall.
Fake shots are fired. Hundreds run out. Some look like they're wounded. Police run in. It's not real, but feels like the real thing.
Help is on the way.
Across the parking lot, local and federal first responders are staged. They communicate
How many shooters did you see?
and dispatch SWAT members. Those who are acting as the armed hostage takers have control. First responders put their training to the test. Once this is over, they hope for high scores, ones that down the road could save lives.